All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice. Let us be glad in it. For those of you that are coming on, please do me a favor very quickly. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know. Prophet Ramon, the squad. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is Wednesday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Well, the 4th is here on you, and I'm super excited about today's show. So if you could hit the like button, if you could share, if you could tag somebody, if you could text somebody, maybe you need to yell in the other room and let them know that we're live on the Ramon Preston Show today. I have an amazing conversation that we're about to have together. I want this to be a dialogue. I don't want it to be a monologue. So that means I want you to make sure you have some questions. You can drop your questions in the comments. We will take those questions as best as we can, answer those questions, because we want to make sure that you get as much value as you can. And guess what? If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page yet, you are missing some valuable information. You are missing valuable notifications. You are missing an amazing opportunity to be a part of history, because when we have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, you're going to look back and think, man, I'm glad I was one of the few thousand he had when he started his show. We've actually had this show running for over a year now. We started in January of 2021. So we're talking about almost a year and a half we've had this show. A few more months before we get to a year and a half. So anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston. Every Monday through Friday, right here, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, we show up on the show and we share information with you that we know is relative to what we do every day. It is a part of our strengths, our core competencies. We specialize in helping people start, structure, and to some extent scale their businesses, their ministries, and their income stream. So if you've ever wondered how to properly start and structure a holding company, how to properly start and structure an organizational enterprise, how do you build it? How do you establish the infrastructure for it? How do you integrate the right systems and processes? How do you take your ideas and convert them into products and services? How do you price them? How do you introduce them to the market? Maybe you have issues with sales and marketing or creative tax strategies. Well, our company specializes in working with clients to make sure that we can check all those boxes. And so we use this show Monday through Friday to share incremental information with you. We can't give you everything on the show, but guess what? I have almost 1,500 videos on YouTube alone. And so if you start browsing through my YouTube page, you will see that I have an extraordinary amount of information that I share on holding companies, on financial literacy, on business startups, on operating systems, on financial systems, on sales, on marketing, on real estate investing. There are a lot of things that I share for free. And so this show has been a blessing to so many people. I want to say thank you to all of you that watch the show regularly. Those of you that are part of our business community, I want you to know that I appreciate you. I just thank you for trusting me and my team to serve you with information. I just love when I get a chance to talk to people, whether they're clients or whether they are thinking about becoming clients. It just does my heart well to have an opportunity to talk to people and for them to discern the genuineness of what we're doing. They can discern the sincerity. They can pick up the vibe and the energy that I'm a real person and that I'm not playing games. I'm not goofing off, even though I goof off sometimes. But from a professional perspective, I keep it real and I give people what I'm supposed to give people. And so for that, I want to say thank you to all of you. For those of you that are part of our business programs, whether you are participating in our Millionaire Blueprint, our educational program, maybe you are a mentee in our coaching program, our Millionaire Mentorship program. Maybe we're training you as a consultant or coach. Maybe you're in our business incubator, wherever it is that you are in our ecosystem. I just want to say thank you. I want you to know that I appreciate your love and your support. And I hope that we are doing a good service to you through the Ramon Preston Show. So today, guess what? Let's talk holding company. That's what I want to talk about today. It's one of my favorite topics, and I want to get some feedback from those of you that are watching. Again, if you have any questions with regard to holding companies, I want you to drop your questions in the comments on this Winning Wednesday. I want to answer your questions. But what I am finding out more and more as the days go by is that a lot of people who are in business, a lot of people who want to be in business know very little about holding companies as entities, and they know very little about holding companies as a business concept, okay? And so if you watch any of my videos, if you follow me enough, somewhere in my conversation, I'm going to be talking about a holding company. And I don't just talk about holding companies just from the perspective of business entities, but I also talk about holding companies from the perspective of a business concept. So we're going to talk a little bit about holding companies today, and I want to make sure that you can at least leave this show with a better understanding of not just what holding companies are and some of the fundamentals of how holding companies work, but the value of a holding company. Holding companies are valuable. The truth is, most of the major global international corporations that we may know of because they are household names, these major global international corporations are actually set up and structured as holding companies because the people behind them understand not just holding companies as business entities, but they also understand holding companies as business concepts. Because when you are able to use a business entity and using that business entity through a business concept that is designed to help you create wealth, that is designed to make you a millionaire, that is designed to give you greater leverage and opportunities to create massive financial freedom for you and for your family, guess what's going to happen? You're going to use those business entities and you're going to utilize those business concepts. But here's the thing. If you do not understand the value of a holding company, then most likely you're never going to even entertain the idea of learning about the business entity of a holding company, the business concept of a holding company. So whatever it is that you have Googled, whatever it is that you have searched on YouTube, whatever it is that you've heard some internet information expert talk about concerning holding companies, let's talk about it today. If you have some questions, I want you to drop your questions in the comments. I'll be more than happy. I've got my phone in my hand, and we're not quite as sophisticated as I want to be yet in my studio for me to just click a button and chime you in to ask the question live, or for me to just look at a screen and see your questions yet. We're working on building the team to make that possible for me here at Ramon Preston Enterprises. But until then, we're going to do it the old good way, the old fashioned way. You drop a question in the comment and I'm going to pull the question up and I'm going to answer the question so that I can give you the game. How does that sound? So let's talk holding companies. First of all, let's begin with giving you a understanding of what a holding company is. A holding company is a parent organization, okay? Simply put, a holding company is a parent organization. So we'll put holding company and we'll put equals parent organization. That's what a holding company is. A holding company is also an umbrella entity, all right? It's an umbrella. So when you think about a holding company, you think about a company that literally oversees or covers other entities, other investments, other assets. So if you were to have a holding company, this would be box number 1. We'll say LLC number 1. This would be abbreviated holding company. That would be considered the parent organization, the umbrella organization. So that would suggest that any other company, any other organization, any other operation that you have going on under this parent organization will not be over it. It will what? Be under it. It won't be beside it because it is the parent, right? So if you are a parent, or if you're watching me, you might not even be a parent. You have to have a parent in order to be here, right? So guess what? No matter how big you get, no matter how old you are, no matter how educated and experienced you are, if you are watching me today, somewhere along the lines you had to have a parent in order for you to be here, okay? And that means there is somebody fundamentally or biologically over you. Well, that's what a holding company is. A holding company becomes the parent organization. It becomes the umbrella. So that means when you are able to understand the business entity of a holding company and the business concept of a holding company, you are going to make sure that your first LLC, your first company, your first organization is set up and structured as an umbrella so that it can be considered the holding company. Now, why? Let's stop for a moment since we're talking holding companies. Why would a business owner start a business, whether it's an LLC or something else? Why would a business owner start a business and not start it as a holding company? Why? Why would that happen? Why would somebody start a business, a LLC, but don't start it as a holding company? You know why? Because they don't understand the entity of a holding company. They don't understand the concept. So if you don't understand something, you don't know the value of it, you're not going to really use it. It's just like some of the clothes you got in your closet. It's just like some of the food you got in your pantry. It's just like some of the items you may have in your bag or in your dresser drawer. You don't use a lot of these things because you either don't understand that thing that you have, the concept behind it, and you don't value it. So most people, when they start businesses, they don't start them as holding companies because they don't understand the concept. They don't understand how valuable having a holding company is, even if there's a specific business operation that they want to establish in order to go make money, okay? But even if you have a different type of company that you want to use as an operating entity to make money to sell a product or service, it's still to your advantage to make sure that your first company, your first LLC, is your holding company. Now, once you establish your holding company as a parent company, as an umbrella company, then there are other layers that you're going to start building out. One of the first layers is what we call divisions. Now, one of the reasons why I like to explain these divisions is because most people who don't understand the holding company concept don't understand the power of a division. So that would mean when they go start a LLC, they start the LLC as a operating LLC, not as a holding company. So their whole world, all of their value, all of their assets are tied into this one entity that's out in the marketplace selling products and services. That's the wrong way, number one. Number two, when they have other ideas, they either go start DBAs, which means they go get different EIN numbers, they go get different bank accounts, and really don't even understand the whole DBA concept. Or worse, they'll start more LLCs, meaning that it's one person who started this LLC, one person that starts this LLC, the same person start that LLC, and all of a sudden they have 3 or 4 LLCs that they have started that they own, because they don't understand the holding company as a business entity, the holding company as a business concept. Am I making sense? This is like holding company 101 on the Ramon Preston Show. But if you start your first LLC as a holding company, you stand at the top of that mountain. And this, my friends, is what frees you up as an entrepreneur. Every time I consult entrepreneurs, I walk them through a certain assessment in my coaching sessions, and I show them how to reset themselves on top of their holding companies so that they're not all stuck and overwhelmed down here and suffocated down here in the minutia of all the stuff that they're trying to figure out. It literally frees them up, because now they understand no matter what happens in this organization, in this company, they've got to maintain the integrity of their position at the top of this mountain. It doesn't mean they can't come down here and do business, but what it means is if they're down here doing business, it needs to be from the perspective of being at the top of that mountain. And so now we have our holding company, and then we have these things called divisions. In most cases, your divisions will be departments, things that you know need to be done within any organization, within any company, but they're not necessarily separate entities. So of course, there are some very familiar divisions, like it could be your sales divisions, right? It could be your marketing division. It could be your operations division. It could be your financial or admin divisions. These could all be divisions, right? But these are all divisions that are literally going to function in any business that you start. But what separates this divisions from other divisions is, let's say if you have an idea that you want to sell, it's a product. You have an idea of something you want to provide to the market as a service. That product or that service doesn't necessarily need to have its own LLC unless there are certain criteria met. So for example, if you want to do a real estate deal, right? If you want to start a real estate business and you have your holding company, well, you're not going to use your real estate business as a division. I wouldn't, because if you're going out there and buying a piece of property, you're going to rent it out. You're going to have tenants. You're going to have a lot of liability. You want to start another LLC down here. This could be LLC number 2 for real estate purposes. But look at the difference. The difference is this LLC is owned by this LLC, which is owned by you, as opposed to you starting LLC number 2, and now you're trying to be the second person when you're only one person, because you don't want to start a organization where you've got multiple entities that you're trying to run and they're not structured correctly. So imagine if this was you and now all of a sudden you're trying to start LLC number 2, LLC number 3, LLC number 4 this way. Imagine if you were trying to do it that way. Look how complicated it is. You're going to have to jump from this, you're going to jump from that, you're going to jump to that, and you're going to be all over the place. You're not going to jump around and end up like that. This is how you're going to end up. You're going to end up on the ground like this. You're going to end up down. That's the little stick man. You're going to end up down because this is not how you build a successful organizational enterprise. You don't build it out, you build it down so that you are at the top. You have your first LLC as your holding company, and then you have your divisions. So some of your divisions, of course, are going to be the normal divisions in any company: sales, marketing, operations, finance, administration, IT, customer service, different types of divisions. But then you have certain ideas, certain products and services that are not quite ready to have their own LLCs. Well, you just drop them as little baby LLCs, which would be more specifically your divisions. So now if I have a certain product that I want to introduce to the market, instead of taking that product and making it a LLC, I can market that product, I can get a brand name for it, I can get a logo, I can package it and take it out there. If it doesn't work, I can scrap it. I don't have to have a whole LLC to do that. So a part of your divisions that you build out, you have to think about the research and development so that when you do start a separate LLC, it's going to make sense because it is something that has either been proven in the division stage, or it is risky, it is volatile, and it definitely needs to be separated. So I'm giving you some free game today because I hear this all the time from people. People are always telling me that, you know what, Ramon, a lot of people are not talking about holding companies on social media. A lot of people are not sharing a lot of this information. And here's the thing, everything that I'm talking about here, I actually packaged in an online program. So I have courses that are specifically dedicated just to teaching you about the business entity of a holding company, the business concept of a holding company, because again, if you're going to start a business entity as a holding company, then you're going to have to at some point educate yourself on the concept. Like, what if you bought a car but you never drove a car? So you have no license to drive the car. You've never driven a car. You really don't know how to drive, but you went and bought the car. What's going to happen? The car is going to be nice. It's going to be sitting in your garage or on your carport, but you're never going to drive it because you're either depending on somebody else to drive it who knows how to drive, or you're just not going to drive it until you what? You learn how to drive it. You educate yourself. You train. You get the experience. Well, it's the same thing with holding companies. They are actually some of the most valuable things you can use. So again, we got you at the top of the mountain. Oh my God, that stick man looks horrible. And your first entity should be LLC number 1 should be your holding company. And again, some people may feel like, well, that's really not the case. I beg to differ. Because again, if you have an operating entity, let's say you have apparel that you want to sell. Now that might not be a good example because apparel, really, you don't have to separate apparel into another entity. But again, let's go with real estate because that's definitely clear. Let's say if you have a real estate business that you want to start and you know you're going to become a landlord. Well, guess what? That could be an LLC owned by your holding company. Let's say you want to get into another type of business and it's a product that you're selling, it's a service that you're selling, but it's unrelated. It's something, let's say if it's landscaping or it's construction. Let's say construction. It could be construction, right? Well, all of these operating entities, you can start LLCs and run those businesses without a holding company. It's just that in order for you to function in a more comprehensive way, they all need to be interconnected correctly, because you're not going to be able to take advantage and use as leverage the benefits of having an ecosystem like this, where this is the concept. A holding company is at the top, real estate, construction, or anything else, as opposed to you. This is what most entrepreneurs do. They start their real estate business, and then they sit at top of that. Then they start another LLC for construction. Then they realize, you know what? I want to do more than construction. I want to sell clothes. And all of a sudden, they're trying to build this organization out with multiple LLCs, but that is not the right structure. This needs to go under here. This needs to go under here so that they could be repositioned properly, and that will eliminate the confusion. Now that's gone. Now that's gone, and that would be the proper way. So now as you build your organization out, this company, your holding company, and this would not even be real estate, because you would drop real estate down here and just move this to be your holding company, and this becomes your umbrella. That's how the concept of a holding company works, but you don't have to keep moving yourself from that mountain, all right? So if you have any questions, I really would like to answer any questions that you may have, because again, we have so many people that reach out to us about the holding company concept, and they ask us time and time and time again, how do I structure my holding company? Why do I need a holding company? What is the value of a holding company? And I keep telling people the same thing. Number one, you're going to have protection, because if you have multiple entities that you own, you don't want to be the owner. You want to own one entity, and that entity own other entities. That's going to be a form of protection. Also, you're going to have purchasing power. I have clients that have restructured their organizations like I'm telling you to do it, and they have gone to banks and institutions and have been able to get loans and to be able to get working capital just because of how they restructured their organizations and created more value across their organization as a whole, because they don't have 5 entities that they own. They have one entity that they own that actually owns 4 other entities. And so now all of those financial activities and all of that revenue is passing through those operating entities up to the holding company, which increases its purchasing power because it has more value. As a matter of fact, not only do you get protection, but you also get preservation. So a lot of times when you start a holding company, your holding company becomes your legacy. It becomes the entity that you use to preserve your legacy. So let me give an example of what I mean by that. So I have a holding company, right? So here I am. I'm at the top of the mountain. Actually, my wife, she's with me as well at the top, okay? We have our holding company. This is our holding company right here. And this is the name of the game. We have a holding company. And so now our holding company owns ownership interests in other entities, right? So whatever money this entity is making, it continues to increase the value of my holding company. My holding company also owns trademarks, right? My holding company also owns copyrights. My holding company owns certain licenses that it licenses out, certain copyrights, certain content, certain intellectual property, IP, to what? Other entities. And so now if these entities are generating revenue because of IP, because of copyrights, because of trademarks or licensing, guess what happens? It increases the overall value. But these operating entities are separate from my holding company so that my holding company can actually become my legacy. It can actually become my legacy. It can actually be the place where I preserve the assets that will over time have a substantial amount of value, especially as these operating entities continue to grow and continue to produce revenue. So this is very, very critical to all of you who want to build legacies, all of you that want to create generational wealth, all of you that are looking for ways to leverage, you're looking for ways to leverage your assets and really to diversify your own assets. Like, for example, when you go and invest in certain markets, you're investing and diversifying. But a lot of entrepreneurs don't even invest and diversify within their own company by structuring it in a way that they can benefit from all these different things that ultimately increase the value of their organizations. Now, if you already have an existing LLC and you're trying to figure out what exactly do you need to do, let's say if you own an existing LLC, but your LLC is not a holding company, and you're trying to figure out what exactly do you need to do in order to make sure that you have your holding company set up and you can put that LLC under your holding company. I have an entire course that I provide to teach you exactly how to do it. I show you how to start your holding company, how to structure it. I show you how to layer it with your divisions and with your subsidiaries. In that one program, I probably have about 40 questions that are common questions that I answer just on things like, how do you transfer assets within your holding company? How do you transfer the ownership of one LLC to your holding company? These are all the things that you have to learn. What if you wanted to start another LLC and you wanted to make sure that your holding company owns that LLC? How do you file that paperwork when you get your EIN? How do you specify what entity is going to own that new LLC? We provide all of that. All you have to do is reach out to us and I'll be more than happy to share this information with you and give you access to this program. Of course, I have coaching programs, I have consulting services, I have a lot of different services that I can provide to help you. We even have a department in our company that will file and form your paperwork, that will draft your operating agreement if you didn't want to do it yourself. So you have a few options with us. If you want to learn it all yourself and do it yourself, we actually have a holding company course with a startup kit. It's right here, and it is an amazing course. We teach you all the ins and outs of how to start it, how to structure it, how to file and form your paperwork. We actually provide for you an operating agreement. We have video tutorials to walk you through each phase of the process. And in this particular holding company program that we offer, we actually give you a bonus portion where we train you on entrepreneurship. We give you access to this entire entrepreneurship course. We train you on the 5 corporate executive roles, which are going to be necessary because they will be your first and main divisions, even in your holding company. So again, if you need access to this information and you want to learn how to establish a business entity like a holding company, you want to learn how to run the day-to-day operations of this holding company, you need to be educated about it. You need to be trained. You need to get that information, and we have it available for you. So if you want to do it yourself, we have a startup kit and a course on the holding company available. If you want us to do it for you, we can file and form the paperwork. Or maybe you would like for us to coach you and consult you on each step of the process and to help you build your business out. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to me today so that we can talk to you about what we have available, and I will provide for you a brief consultation over the phone just to get an idea on what exactly are you doing. What do you want to accomplish? What you already have going on, and we'll show you what we have that can help make that happen. So all you have to do is just reach out to me here at 404-478-7213. That's 404-478-7213. So I really appreciate all of you for joining the show today. I thank you for being a part of our business community. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to subscribe to my YouTube page. I need you to follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, all of those platforms. You can find me at Ramon Preston. Yeah, at Ramon Preston. That's where you find me, at Ramon Preston. Also, we are planning to host a free Millionaire Mastermind. If you've never come to an event that we host, and you've never sat in a room with me and other entrepreneurs for at least 4 hours and brain dump and deep dive into concepts like the holding company, and concepts like creative tax strategies, and concepts like our sales and marketing matrix, you are missing a lot of information and some great interactive experiences. And so I want to give you an early bird invitation for free to join me for one of my upcoming Millionaire Masterminds, which is going to be an amazing event. It's going to be full of information, full of interactive lessons. And if you would like access to that and receive a free VIP ticket to that event, I want you to reach out to me so that we can give you that free VIP ticket. And while we're talking to you, if you have any questions about the holding company, you may have questions about your own LLC, your own ideas, something that you're trying to get off the ground, I'll be more than happy to provide for you a brief assessment to give you my professional perspective as a business consultant so that you can succeed. I want you to win, and I want to help you. I want to help you get to that win. So I appreciate all of you. We've got to go. I have an extraordinary day ahead with a lot of appointments set up, and I want to make sure that I do not miss anything today. So we will be back here tomorrow on the Ramon Preston Show, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. But please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page. Please be sure to follow me on social media. You can actually go to RamonPreston.com, and all the information that I talk about on this show, you will find at RamonPreston.com. Literally, you will find information about our coaching program, our consulting services, our training program, our mentorship, our licensing, our certification, everything that I do, you'll find it at RamonPreston.com. Prices, you'll find all the prices for all of our programs and products and services, all the details of what the benefits are. And if you have any questions, all you have to do is just call me right here at 404-478-7213. And if you would like to get an early ticket to save your spot for our next Millionaire Mastermind, which is going to be a 4-hour event, and I'm going to give you a free ticket, a free VIP ticket, just call me and we'll make sure we sign you up, give you that early bird ticket for free 99. And any questions that you may have about your business, about your finances, or about your ideas, I'll be more than happy to answer them, okay? Love all of you, appreciate all of you. I will see you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston